Ring ring, it's time for another episode of Crossplay Conversations, the show where we dive deep into the world of video games while keeping it light. I'm your host, Luke Lewis, and this week I'm joined by my co-host, the sneaker savant, the engaged one, Joseph Hooper.
What's up, everybody? I wish I had a magnifying glass so I could just kind of look through it like this.
We're uncovering secrets on today's episode alongside my wife, Claire Lewis. Welcome, welcome.
I'm so excited. Talk about Blueprints.
You're so excited.
Sorry, spoilers.
No, well, we're getting into spoilers today, so it's a good segue. We're talking about Blueprints today, the game that took over all of our lives, and likely listeners, your lives as well. This was developed by Dogu Bomb, published by Raw Fury, came out earlier this year in April. We did a quick spoiler-free review impressions during our Game of the Year So Far episode earlier in the year, but Claire and I we fell down a rabbit hole, because Joseph, you were obsessed earlier in the year. We were obsessed the last month and change.
Currently still obsessed. Ongoing obsession.
And we just wanted to get on the mic and talk about it. So this is going to be a more casual episode of Crossplay Conversations. I would say if you have not played Blueprints and you have any intention of doing so, which you highly, highly should, probably jump out now. Bookmark this episode for later. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. Joseph has played a ton. We've played a fair bit, and we're going to just kind of go back and forth. I imagine we're going to get some stories, talk through some puzzles. I'm probably going to learn a lot because there is, I feel like, still a ton, despite 50 plus hours with the game, that I'm still figuring out as I play more. But I'm excited to get into things. Let's kick things off with our icebreaker question. I feel like this is such a special game for all of us that I want to just start by talking about what has your time like playing Blueprints meant to you, and how does it stack up against your current GOTY rankings? Claire, do you want to kick things off?
Sure. Playing Blueprints has meant a lot to me. Like we said, it's totally taken over our lives. It was a really nice easing back into playing video games on the regular after a very busy summer, getting ready for our wedding and getting my new job and getting situated with that. And I just it kind of became a routine of it's Saturday morning, and now it's also now on the weeknights I have a free 5 minutes and I'm gonna do a 45-minute run of Blueprints because I cannot stop. And so yeah, that's what it's meant to me. GOTY rankings, it has absolutely obliterated the competition. It is currently It is currently slots number 1 through 10 on I'm just kidding. But yeah, the more I play, the more I'm like, nothing else is gonna come close to this year. Maybe this decade, but Hades 2. I have not played Hades 2 yet, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
High praise. Joseph, how about you? What has this game meant to you as you slam the purchase button on that I Am 8-Bit Collector's Edition?
Oh, yeah, that is true. So I would say this game has consumed me like no other game has in a really, really long time. This game lives in my favorite genre of games, which is knowledge is power type deal, where the more you learn about the game, the better you become at it. And I just had such an incredible experience playing this game. It's one of those games where I know as I'm going through it, I'll never be able to have this experience again, because once you play it and once you discover everything, that's it, right? So I definitely cherished the time that I spent with this game. And yeah, this is going to be a game I think about probably forever. And yeah, Game of the Year conversation. I mean, like Claire is saying, it's really hard to compete with Blueprints. There are some games, not to spoil our end of year discussion, but there are some games that might compete. You got Claire Obscure, you got Hades 2, you got Silksong in my case, but Blueprints is very special. And I don't know if we need to be talking about Game of the Year. This is one of my favorite games of all time, to be honest. So yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a similar boat. This was one of those rare games that when I started playing, I was like, Oh, I'm playing one of my new favorite games of all time right now. And that was like pretty immediate, which was interesting because I think this game is truly like an onion in a sense of the more you play, the more layers you uncover, the more systems you understand, the more intricacies, the story unravels itself. Like there's just so much going on. And I was just constantly impressed at how it continued to evolve over time. And I think I love a good puzzle game, but I often do find myself frustrated. Whereas in Blueprints, I don't think I was ever frustrated as much as I was intrigued and empowered. And I think we'll get into it, but the basic gameplay loop itself, I feel like, is so satisfying that even when you're messing up on a given run or it doesn't go how you want it to, you're still learning new things that are then informing the 8 other side mysteries you're trying to piece together. Like, I think it values your time in a very interesting way where 50 hours, 100 hours, 200 hours, you're having a worthwhile experience the whole time. And I think there's different points where, and we'll get into this, I think, when we compare like where each of us made it and what we accomplished. But like, I think each of those experiences is valid as like a, wow, I experienced Blueprints, whether that's rolling credits, whether that's uncovering X storyline or mystery, whether that's solving this specific room puzzle. And yeah, I just think it's really, truly something special. I think when we do get to GOTY conversations, it's going to be crazy. Or it will be like the least crazy in a sense that it'll just be like clear cut. Here we go, moving on. But truly special game. Can't recommend it enough. Once again, full spoiler warnings. Gates are up. If you haven't played the game, it's on Game Pass. It's on PlayStation Plus. It's also on Steam. Multiple places to play it. Okay, with that said, spoiler gates abound. We're getting into it. I feel like we should set the stage just going around the horn and prefacing how much have you played in terms of like hour count and day count if you know that off the top of your head, and then maybe like generally how much you feel like you uncovered in the grand scheme of the thing of the game itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Claire, do you want to kick things off?
Sure. Okay. Sure. Okay. As the person with the lowest count of hours, I think I'm probably at like between 30 and 40 right now. And I am currently in the middle of day 28. It is paused in the other room. I got to, this is full spoilers, I can say whatever I want, right?
Yes.
So I got to room 46 and rolled credits on day 23. And my average day length was like 55 minutes at the time that I did that. So like I was just like, I think I was uncovering a lot really early on. And I feel like I don't even know how much of the game I've seen, because every time I think that I've thoroughly explored an area, there's something else, there's some other wrinkle, there's some, I wonder what that does, I wonder how that connects, and then you push a button and then whole, like, even we opened a door a minute ago on day 28 and we're like, what this, there's a whole other area in here. And so yeah, just figuring out how, all the like interlocking mechanisms of the house. It's like, I don't know. I can tell you that I have found 2 red letters, and I know that there are floor plans. There are rooms I haven't seen yet. So I know there's a. When I look at the directory, it seems like it's like 70 or 80% full. So.
Okay. I'll go next because I think I'm the of the 3 of us the middle in terms of progress and hour count. I'm probably like 65 to 70 hours ish, about 150 days in. I've also rolled credits and seen room 46. I have the trophy where I've filled every like house space in the house. I believe I've seen all the floor plans. And then I've solved a smattering of like the room specific puzzles, outdoor stuff. But that said, I still feel like there's a ton of overarching story things that I don't know about, like Simon's mom. don't really know the full extent of that. I think I have 2 of the red envelopes as well. So that I think there's a fair bit of that still left to uncover. And there's a couple specific room puzzles that I have no fucking clue how to do, which specifically the gallery puzzle has been breaking my brain trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
I had
there.
a dream
the
about
Oh,
one of
God.
those a couple of nights ago. I was like, oh, I think I figured out one of the pictures. Like in
But
my
that
sleep.
said, it's interesting though comparing Claire and I, because I've played so much more, but I feel like she's seen like somewhat equal in terms
Yeah.
of some of the content.
But there was also
But-
some things you solved where I was like, how did you do that? And you're like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, there's some things where I solved it so early
long ago,
on.
yeah.
Like the foundation elevator, as an
Yeah.
example.
That was
Like
the big
I had
one.
that figured
I had
out
to look that up.
within the first 20 days. And then so for the last 130, I've just had that. So Claire was
Yeah.
like, how did you do that? And I
That
was like,
was
to be
the-
honest, I don't remember a time when I didn't have that.
That was the
So-
one
Exactly,
thing I had
yeah.
to look up. I couldn't figure out how to get it to lower. And I like tried 5 different things across 5. I was like, I don't know what to do. Luke didn't remember what he did to do it. He threw out some ideas, like none of these are working. So then I had to look up how you get that.
Yeah, that
elevator
one was, and I know we're going off tangent, but that was definitely one of the, we'll get to it later, but let's add a note on here about like stumbling into solutions.
Yeah, I like that.
Because that was definitely one I stumbled into.
You just got lucky that you happened to draw a
Yeah.
room with the door right there. And
Yep.
And
100%.
the number of times, real quick as an aside, the number of times I found something later that then was an alternate path to
answer,
a previous solution that was like, oh,
Yep.
this would have been way easier than the thing,
yeah,
the way I
Yep.
ended up doing it.
I figured out the artwork puzzle and how it worked completely on my own. And then
Which artwork puzzle?
So you know how every room has 2 pieces of artwork on the wall.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then I found the room later where it like kind of tells you what that is.
Mm,
And
yeah.
and then I was like, well, shoot, the game just tells you. It just gives you the answer. I was just staring at it like, what does this mean? For a very long time.
Before we get super in the weeds, I want to kick it back to you, Joseph. Hour count wise, where you at? How much did you play? How much did you accomplish? What do you still feel like you have left to uncover, if anything?
Yeah, so my hour count is a little weird because I was doing remote play, so I would play a little bit on my Steam Deck, and I don't know how like an idle remote play Xbox counts time if it's still running or what, but allegedly I'm close to 200 hours in Blueprints. I don't remember what day I'm currently on, but I definitely have passed 356 days because I was like, there must be something that happens after I do this. To be honest, I don't remember if anything happens. And for reference, I have my little iPad here, and I have over 38 pages of notes on this iPad. They just keep going. I know you guys can't see. You probably don't even need to see these notes, but I have a lot of pages of notes.
Nice.
In terms of how far I've gotten what I guess is considered the true ending of the game. And I feel like I've seen 90% of the game. I haven't actually looked up any like clear like spoilers about what I haven't seen, but there's definitely some puzzles that I know that I've gotten hints to that I just never solved, particularly one big puzzle. And there's a bunch of other like little clues that I've gotten along the way that I'm not sure if they reference something I've solved or haven't solved. So there's at least one big puzzle that I never found. Will I ever go back and find it? I don't know. I don't know, but a lot of time. There is a puzzle about something called like the family core, and it's like an arithmetic puzzle where you're like doing math, and I got like a hint that's like, oh yeah, to solve the family core you need to do this and they all need to add up to this and this, and I'm like, great. And I never found out where to use that information. So I know there is like, and I know it has to deal with something to do with like in the cellar there's that like shield, and there's like, it says like MCII or whatever, like the year or whatever. I think that is also related somehow.
Yeah.
I just don't know how. I never figured that part out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't encountered any of that. I found the little like math homework and like the numbers adding up things.
Yeah.
Seems...
That's an interesting puzzle as well.
I have like after I got room 46, I wrote down all the puzzles that I'm like, I still want to figure out this or not even like puzzle, but just things that I need to do or want to do. And yeah, there's a lot. So I'm excited to see what the true ending is and what that looks like.
It's a doozy, to say the least. I mean, it's not like earth shattering.
Yeah.
But when you look back on your journey, you're like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the room 46 reveal when the door opens and it plays that cutscene was like still really powerful.
100%.
I was tearing up.
I want to talk about that in a second, but
yeah.
Luke,
there's a million directions we can go in.
Start at the beginning, day one.
I am curious generally, like for all of us, but for you particular, Joseph, across 200 hours, like what was your strategy as you were playing, as you got to 100 hours deep, once you've uncovered like the bulk of the main mystery and room 46? Like what was your post-game approach?
Yeah.
How were you spending your time?
Let me tell you, a lot of wasted time. My approach after you get to room 46, my first goal was to go back to room 46. That was like the number one, because if you played the game and beat it, you know that you cut off, the game ends before you actually see what's in room 46. And I was like, I was baffled. I was like, you're not doing that to me. So I went back, and then there were like a few big leads that the game gives you to chase down, or like maybe you have some unsolved mysteries throughout your run. And you're like, oh, I got to room 46 and I never had to use this or solve this. Yeah. So that was kind of my strategy, was to like hone in on those different leads and see how many of those I can solve. One of them was the keys related to the doors. Where the final like north lever is. That was kind of like my first thing, and I was hunting those down. And as I was hunting those down, I started uncovering other things, and then I kind of started chasing the red letters and the safes. So it's kind of like that. That was like my thought process. And then it became a thing of like, I have seemingly seen everything. Like, how is it possible that there are still uncovered mysteries when I know I've gotten, at some point I knew that I didn't have all the rooms at some point. And I knew when I did have all the rooms, because you get an achievement for it. Yeah. And at some point I got all the rooms, and I was like, I have all the rooms. How is it possible that there are other secrets that I haven't uncovered after going through these rooms multiple times, literally looking at every little nook and cranny, looking at like a picture that's slightly askew and being like, is that something, or is that just like a visual design choice? So it's kind of like continuously combing everything, and then kind of getting lucky or doubling back on some clues that I thought I had fully figured out, but being like, oh, there's like a double meaning here, or oh, there's something that I didn't realize, or I missed, or I looked over here. So yeah, that was kind of my process, is just like continuously combing over stuff until I ran out of big leads.
Yeah.
Cool. I feel like Claire and I were joking about it as I was playing, but part of me felt like I played the game incorrectly early on. I felt very like single goal oriented early on, and once I felt like I was quick to end my days. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
if the circumstance was screwed to get the outcome that I felt like I needed, I would restart my day. And eventually I ditched that approach and made the most of my time and made sure I explored fully. And even if I couldn't go in the direction I wanted to go, that I still like filled out the map and filled out the rooms for that given day. And that like clicked something for me, where I felt like then I was starting to see more of the game in each run. And as Claire was playing, I remember you started to uncover, like, I forget how exactly you trigger it, but once you get your like outside room that you can
Yeah.
get at the start of your day. That was a huge game changer in terms of just like setting the tone for the given day. And once I had the allowance and started with different perks of like the mail room, where then you start with perks, or you start with gems and you upgrade your storerooms and different things. And like once you're not struggling for resources just to maneuver, then it was like, wow, I'm really thinking about this whole thing.
The strategy.
Yeah,
Big
this
picture.
strategy.
You gotta
yeah,
zoom out.
totally.
I think we had this conversation where I like mentioned, wow, you're really quick to end the day, and then you're watching me play, and I can't remember. You were like, oh, you're there? How did you get there? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I figured this out right away. And so that's also just like interesting ways that you uncover things in different order.
Yeah, or like little things like the breaker box or opening the garage door
Mm.
then allowed you to access different things. And it was like,
I had said the thing of like, when you're playing, you have to be thinking about all the puzzles all the time. And then if you get a floor plan, right, if you get a series of rooms that allows you to pursue one of those puzzles more, then that's what and like cuts you off from doing other thing, then you focus on that other thing. Like when if you get a dead end, but you can still go back and explore those other rooms, so there's more to do. So yeah, it was just all about those conversations and just being multi-strategy.
Yeah, I think I was definitely Claire in the first half, like up to room 46. It was kind of like all right, let me just look at everything.
Yeah.
And because also it was like, you don't really know what gets you to room 46 until you like start to figure out, oh, the levers kind of do this. And like, you're starting to get hints about where the south lever is. You're kind of just grasping at straws to figure out which path leads to room 46.
Yeah.
Because maybe you think it's the pictures, maybe you think it's the safes. You really don't know. So definitely in the beginning, my strategy was like, all right, let me look at this puzzle. If I don't know it right now, let me write it down or something like that. Let me take a note. And that way, if I'm in some other room and I see a hint that relates back to that, I can kind of reference my notes and kind of build this repertoire of notes that I can refer back to. But definitely once we're like way past that and you're kind of looking for extra stuff, it was very more like scientific method of like, I have a hypothesis. I need to see if this means anything as fast as possible. So I would like, basically like Luke is saying, I would try something and be like, all right, my run is like messed up because this is not going to help me figure out my hypothesis. So I killed it. And I would just keep going. Or like, maybe I need to rack up days and I want to see if I can trigger something randomly. Like, it was kind of like that, where I just didn't really care at the end about burning days really quickly.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and like as an example, when I was trying to get to room 46, I was fixated on the one path that I had figured out of like, okay, I go down to the foundation level, I open that south door, I go back up, I find a secret garden key or a greenhouse key, I find a greenhouse key to do that lever, and then I find a secret garden key, and it was like, that was my path. That's how I was going to do it. But I probably wasted a ton of time just repeated trying to do that series of motions rather than figuring out like, oh, if you make a power hammer and punch out a wall in the weight room, that also,
which we learned from watching the speedrun,
which like shit like that
after we beat the game.
I don't know if you've seen that speedrun, but that 11 minutes. Blew my
I have
mind.
not seen it.
Yeah,
the power hammer is like, sorry,
it's crazy. No, you're.
It's
good.
one of the most game altering like
insane.
Items.
It's insane. But I'll link it in the show description. But IGN did a developer speed run react to this guy that was playing. He beat it in 11 minutes in terms of reaching day one. And he did this crazy thing where he like drafted 4 dead end rooms right off the bat. And he built a power hammer. And then he opened the garage. And then he like went outside through the garage.
Through the secret
door, punched a hole in the wall through to the basement. went down and then used the weight room. It's
very cool.
In his final thing, and then punched the hole in the weight room, and it was crazy.
Like, it's insane.
It was crazy.
We like screamed like we were watching sports.
No, it was nuts. That was my esports moment, truly.
When I got the power hammer and I punched the hole in the basement wall that led out to the front, I did that fairly early on, and that completely changed all of my playthroughs because I could just conserve so many steps.
Yeah.
Or because you had that every time.
I had that every time, and like I could also like do some like interesting strategy things where like I would ride the elevator down, flip the switch, come back through the front to like, or like if I wanted to strategically come back to the front faster, like rather than going through my whole like mansion. Because like my foundation was on level 8 or 7 or something like that, like I would use that hole to get to the front faster. Because you could go
straight up to your foundation also.
Yeah, I would go foundation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's cool.
Yeah,
it was awesome. I want to keep talking about the puzzles, but I'm curious. Please. I want to talk about the story a little bit because I want to rake your guys' brains on like how much you know about what Blueprints is about, and then I want to talk about what I know or what you want to allow me to say.
Sure. Yeah.
I am so intrigued by the story because it is so much of just like chance uncovering things, and you have to be so deliberate. I think we've probably experienced similar.
Because I think, the thing that's interesting about our play experience is we haven't been playing together in terms of shared save file. We kind of
just started talking about it last week.
Claire reached a point where it was like, okay, you've seen most of what I've seen, and then you've watched a couple moments that I saw, and like I helped her figure out in the moment how to get to 46 in that final like turn of events.
So what had happened was this is a little bit of a tangent, but I finally figured out how to get into the basement, and I got the basement. I got to the antechamber and I got the basement key, and Luke was like, "Oh shit, you can do it right now." And I was like, "What?"
I lost my mind. I was like, "You could do it right. It's happening."
And then I was like, "Wait, I want to figure it out myself." And he didn't like tell me how to do it.
And I was just like,
but I was like, he was just sitting there like this.
I was basically we like, "I will intervene if you don't do this."
We were sitting down to dinner. He was like, "It's time to pause so we can eat dinner." And then I found the basement key. He was like, "Oh, we're not."
And I was like, "This is dinner entertainment right now. We are locked in."
And so, like, I went down to the basement, and I was like solving the puzzle, and then I did the thing, and I can't remember why I started talking about this, but anyway,
I think all this to say we've had this like shared experience despite playing separately only in recently. Terms of the story.
So I think, and we've both found the same 2 red letters, right? You found the one in the boudoir safe, and the one in the time lock safe in the shelter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we know the contents of those 2 letters being about the conflict about the disappearance of Marion Marigold, who is Simon's mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was the author. There was some political controversy that seems to be like what the game is really about. So timely that the Blueprints is really about fascism, right?
And then I feel like we have a ton of like small details about like
certain
staff members and their relationship,
was stealing,
and then family tree bits and bobs.
Yeah,
I would say.
But yeah, I feel like I was like, is she behind the door in 46 just waiting?
That's what I was.
I thought about that too.
Truly, yeah, that's what I thought the grand reveal was too, or at least like a full explanation or letter. But now that you're saying this true ending situation,
I
keep asking your questions, but I have some follow-up questions of like, I guess I'm curious, like from where we're at in the game, like. Is this true ending you're talking about tied to the trophies that you're unlocking in any way? Do you have? Is there
I have a
hunch.
Can I say my hunch and see if it's right?
Mhm.
I think that it is tied to collecting all of the red envelopes or
It's
opening
not.
all of
No.
the
No.
secret doors.
No.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
the true ending is tied to nothing. Like there,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there are achievements that lead you to the true ending. Like you could get all of the achievements and still not find the true ending.
Interesting.
It's just like based off of clues within the game that will, if you uncover the right things, it will lead you to what is considered the true ending. But
Interesting.
Is there
I'm
another cutscene, or do you roll credits a second time, or roll like a
I
title card?
can't remember if you roll like another card for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
And there is like a small cutscene, but it's not as good as you get the great cutscene is like the one where you open room 46
Yeah.
for
Okay.
sure. It just kind of like puts a neat bow on the game. And like I would say that to get to the true ending, you're really doing some of the most convoluted shit I've ever seen in my life. And it's kind of like
Interesting.
there's a level in Hollow Knight called the Path of Pain where it's like truly everything that you've worked towards comes up to this, where you have to do pixel perfect platforming for I don't know how many minutes straight. It's kind of like that, where it's like everything you've worked towards in terms of puzzle solving is coming to this. You need to figure out the most convoluted shit you've ever seen in your life, and you will be rewarded with nothing, no achievement, no anything, just a just a title card that says Blueprints. But um, before we go into that, like, do you want me to kind of recap what I know of the story without talking about maybe like the red letters and stuff like that, or how do you guys feel about this? Because I do want to kind of get into some of the
Yeah.
crazy details of
I
like
guess
what
I
the
want to
story
hear
is.
some of the details.
I'm interested
and it's one of
too.
those things
I
where
think.
I would
Go ahead.
like to go deeper in terms of my
Yeah.
gameplay journey, but I don't know how much deeper I'm capable of without looking things up.
I
So
know
then
I'm
at
Fair
that
enough.
point,
capable
we're
of a lot.
talking about, you know what I mean?
I
So
can
that's
do
where
it.
I'm at.
I'll
but
do it all.
So I won't go.
For me,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to. I would love to organically figure out, if one can organically figure out, what exactly happened with with her disappearance, like how she,
Yeah.
if it's ever revealed exactly what actually happened to her. I kind of want to figure
Yeah.
that out organically, but other
Okay.
than that, yeah.
Okay. So I'll skip over that part. But yeah, like essentially, Claire's right that like at some point in the game, depending on if you're reading enough or finding what you need to find out, you realize that yeah, the game is about authoritarianism and fascism and like standing up for what you believe in and heritage and all of these like different themes that at first glance you look at it and you're like, what the fuck? How could this game possibly be about that? Like,
Yeah.
there's just no way. And similar to what Claire said about like hitting room 46 and like tears, getting emotional, that was 100% me because I had pieced together just enough of the story at that point to kind of like be impacted by what was being said in
Yeah.
that final moment. So, you know, at a very high level, I won't get into super specific details, but obviously you were Simon P. Jones. You're being gifted this manor by your uncle, and you just got to find room 46. And also, there's like this mystery about your mother disappearing, right? And effectively, what you learn is that you are in this kingdom that has this rich history, and like the realms of this kingdom have been like passed down over generations. And there was a big lineage of kings that, you know, built this culture and this heritage for these people. And at some point, there was a revolt because there was a lineage and then there was a new king. And one of the kings eventually like moved their capital from like the bustling city where all the royals and everybody lived um, to like a kind of like rural area that had more ties to the original route where like the first ever king had like laid grounds. And that kind of caused an uproar, right? Where these royals said, hey, like this king doesn't really respect us. Why did he move the capital X, Y, and Z? So then they started getting a little testy. And then there was a new king that kind of took over from like this peaceful, like chill king. And he was like, okay, these people are getting testy. Like we need to go and set them straight. And this king kind of went overkill, ended up massacring a bunch of people in this like revolutionary battle. And essentially the military and like neighboring countries kind of saw this massacre and took this opportunity to be like, yo, this is not cool. Like this king is like, you know, overstepping his bounds. We need to take over and we need to be like we need to like have a change. Right. So they essentially came and like won the battle against this king and took over, and the colors of this kingdom were black. They were black for the longest time. And then they became red, and red became the symbol of this kingdom. And it kind of became a situation where it was like the victors write the history. History is written by the winners. And I wouldn't say that it was necessarily like, as you play the game, it's not necessarily like, oh, like these Nazis just came in and like took over everything. It was kind of literally like, hey, like this war changed everything. Like because of this one little like infraction, kind of like the Boston Tea Party type beat, because of this one event, now history is being changed forever, where this new kingdom is in power, right? So the whole game is kind of like built on the idea that your mom has heritage and lineage tied to the old kingdom. And she has lived through this like change of regime in this country she used to really love and call home and all of these things. And she basically watches as everybody gets indoctrinated to love this country who she believes are not like the rightful founders of this place, right? So you see in like the classroom that all these kids on their little sheets of paper say their favorite color is red, right? Yeah. And you see like history books being rewritten, like, or being redacted about like the truth of what really happened. And ultimately it comes to like this point where she starts to kind of rebel a little bit, in that you see like this book, which is like the focal point of a lot of this, which is called like the Red Prince, right? And the Red Prince is about like this kid who's like, oh, my favorite color is red, and this is the only thing that I know, and I reject everything else, and I don't really want to try anything new, and like I only care about red. And he kind of gets everything he wants because he's a little prince, he's getting pampered. But there's also kind of like a commentary about like, it's kind of sad because he doesn't really know what he's missing out on, because he was always raised to like the color red, right? And it's kind of her subtle way of being like, hey man, this is kind of messed up. And in a way, she's kind of talking about her own kid, or it's like, my kid doesn't really know his true history, or like where he came from, or he'll never know the land that I truly call home, right? So then she starts doing like these little rebellious acts to kind of fight back in her own subtle ways. Obviously, she's an acclaimed author. So there's a lot of subliminal messaging she's putting into her books to try and like get a message across that she doesn't really back the things that are happening in this country. And flash forward to you as her son, discovering all of these things about your heritage and everything, and about what truly happened in your family. Once you reach the room 46, she starts to tell the story about like the blueprints, and she talks about how like, you know, you see yourself in the position of like, oh, you saw this war happen and you didn't really know what was going on as a kid, and you saw all of these things like kind of like changing over, but you didn't know any better, so you kind of got indoctrinated. And she talks about like how she's hopeful that you will become the blueprints, like you'll actually learn about your heritage and you'll be the one to like, you know, stand up and reclaim like your history. Like she's fighting for you to have a better life and a new life, right? And you reaching room 46 is kind of like the moment where that happens, right? Because you take over the estate if you reach room 46, right? So like when you reach room 46 and you have that moment of her basically having her dream kind of spelled out and aligning with what you accomplish, I'm like, dude, this is like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
this is insane, right? Like, so there's a lot of other small details that are amazingly put within the story about like what all of the family members, how they all kind of interconnect and how it all ties back into the really old
Yeah.
history of the land and stuff like that, which is really cool in
Yeah.
itself to find, like, especially once you beat the game and there's some stuff where I like visually went to a part of the level that I had never been before, and I saw something and I was like, holy crap, like this is like, what am I looking at right now? This is
Yeah.
like, doesn't seem like it should be in this game type situation. And it all kind of just builds on that story of like, here's this history, and it just gives more credence to like your mom fighting
Yeah.
to retain all of this stuff that is kind of trying to get flushed out and rewritten away. That's a high level story of Blue Prince, guys.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's really
like
cool.
What an
And
amazing recap.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. No, I'm just like processing all of that because it's so interesting to like think about reading her books that I've found over different runs and finding little bits and pieces of things and recognizing like the red and blue symbolism at a base level early on, you know, and different things, and just like hearing how that culminates with the context that I have from what I played. That's super interesting and really neat.
Yeah, the thing that I didn't know was all of that backstory about the kingdoms and stuff. I feel like I've just started uncovering that after going back to room 46 and seeing there's like the 8 realms in 8 months or whatever it said, puzzle, and trying to figure out, and there's like all the sigils and things, and so just trying to figure all that out. But yeah, it's really interesting. I also just in my last game day found the redacted history of Orinindia. So
the unredacted one?
No, the redacted one.
Oh,
for the first
okay.
time. Yeah, so I didn't have enough money to buy the not redacted one. So yeah, hearing about all that and just like I can't wait to find that for myself and use that to figure out the rest of the puzzles. But it's so incredible to me how deep the lore is in the game.
It's so deep. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like there's stuff that doesn't really, like, it all plays into everything, but there's just like little details about like the construction of the mansion where you start to kind of go deep on like the history of that, where you're like, oh wow, this is like, there's kind of like a in-game reason for why the mansion can be all weird and randomized and stuff like that. So yeah, like there's a lot of really cool lore nuggets, which is another thing I love about this game, is like it does such an incredible job at world building for no reason at all. Like there's just no reason to go this hard on history and lore building and stuff like that. So yeah.
But you feel it, like it's so thorough, and then also just how every aspect of the game feels so intentionally built, whether it's part of a puzzle or it's giving you the lore and the backstory. It's just like everything means something, and I think that is so cool.
Yeah, 100%. What else do you have for us, Luke? Where do you want to go with this next?
I think I just have, I guess I'm being selfish, but I have specific questions of just like, does X matter? Am I overthinking this?
Let's do it.
Do I need to dig into this kind of thing? You know what I mean? And this kind of is a good segue too into what's our biggest like aha lightning bolt or lightning bulb moment, or also maybe what stumped us or what we kind of stumbled into. Couple things. I think my biggest aha lightning light bulb moment was when I figured out how to light candles by combining items. That was
one
crazy.
We did together because I was like, I know you can do things. You were like, you can light candles.
We need to be able to light candles. And then I got really deep into the workshop, and I was like, I'm gonna figure out what combination. And then I came, like, you walked in, and I was like, look at what I just made. And then so then it was like trying to get the tomb Yes, the
'Cause
tomb
that was where we knew
where the initial candle lighting happens.
there's more in the chapel. I have not been able to do
That's what,
I
was going to ask, like,
I know that it's
are
there.
all the candles lightable, relevant, needing to be sussed out?
It's the gold ones, right? The ones in the distinctly like copper.
Because some of them you can interact with, and some of them you
can't.
can. From what I've
Are
noticed.
there more besides just those like gold ones? The like coppery gold.
Gold ones.
Or is it so the candles that are in the like candle
that like have a
stands
holder versus
like, kind of a
that are
different
just
texture.
like sitting out.
They're like a little more
This is
brassy.
getting very nitty gritty, but
honestly, I honestly don't remember which candles are important. I know for a fact that there are candles that have a little red jewel on them that are important. Like in the holder, there's a red jewel. I think that's a sign that the candle is interactable.
Yeah.
Other than that, I kind of just tried every candle that I could remember seeing, or like I would take a note and be like, come back and try this candle.
Yeah.
And then the other aha moment I have to double back to was the thing that Claire just uncovered right before we hopped on the podcast tonight. But
yeah.
So she figured out that from the boiler room, you can access a red door on the like
underpass.
Is that what it's called? The underpass.
Yep.
Foundation area, and that opens like crazy space age looking thing that then is on the top of the. I call it like the clock face gear platform that you're rotating around, doing stuff. She now has access to a combination lock. Who knows what the hell combination is? We're not there yet. But just like the way like that lower level section of the house unfolded, I think is just one of the most masterful, cool things, and how Claire accessed like the opposite side from the outside first.
I got the tomb
but
first.
I accessed the
basement
side first. So then when she figured out the minecart stuff, that was like a game changer on my end, and just how all of that unfolded and how it continues to unfold.
Yeah.
Even now as you're uncovering these other layers.
It just occurred to me that I feel like when you're on that gear thing and you look down, it looks like there's another level below too. And there's that tunnel in the reservoir that I'm trying to figure out how to get through. Anyway, that's next.
So I will say that, the red box in the basement was like, it blew my mind because like it was one of those things where I would see all the time.
I was like this especially, has to be something. What is
I'm like,
this?
I'm like, what is this door? Yeah. I'm like, how do I look at this door? And it was kind of one of those moments of me looking through all my photos that I've taken of notes.
Yeah.
And I had this photo of the pressure box, like detailing a pressure box and being like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know what it was, but at some point it just clicked with me that I'm like, the box that I'm seeing is the same red box in the boiler room. And I've never really decided, I've never really tried to route power to that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is it. Right. And like having it open that door and seeing that crazy, like, I don't know, futuristic looking thing was such a good payoff where you're like, yo, what is going on here? Did you guys get through any of the rooms up there, or is it just like the one that is blocked off?
So I think
because I think there's two up there.
There's two. There's the one that has the like padlock cage, and then the other one.
It wasn't barred or anything. It just had some stuff.
Do you remember what did that one have? And
I think I don't even remember. It had the glass window that's marking
with
like
the levels of the reservoir.
The water level.
And
then it had a puzzle box to get another
allowance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then a note from
the
construction. So it wasn't.
There was another construction log, which I find hilarious. How compelling I find the construction logs.
They're good.
Like, man, they're routing water. They're doing the things with the tunnels. They're talking about all these things and then finding them out of sequence. That was another one of when I figured out the like the time dial looking situation that then turned into a staircase that went down.
Candles.
I don't know how best to describe this.
You
found
light the candles.
I lit the candles that caused the staircase. Then I went down
the tunnels
to the
that
like
go along the outside
window
of the mountain with all the
overlook
windows.
situation.
And we saw then 4 or 5 different sets of windows in the distance, and we were like,
yeah. Well, and
that's
one. That's one of those instances I was hinting at earlier, where like then later when I figured out how to light all 4 of the torches on the grounds, then that lowers you down.
I haven't done that yet. So.
Okay, well, it just takes you
You
down
already
to
told
that
me.
same level.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah,
it felt anticlimactic in the moment because I had already found it
100%.
another
Yeah.
way. But if I
Yeah.
hadn't, then it was like it just all goes back to, like you were saying, with the power hammer of accessing that
Multiple
different
ways.
area in a
Yeah.
different order, and it's the
Yep.
sequencing of events. And we've said the game design is like peak in
So
this
good.
game, but like I don't understand how you can conceive some of the intricacies of how these levels work together.
I
It's
know.
nuts.
Me neither. Yeah. It's a true testament to their puzzle building ability, because it's kind of crazy how
Yeah.
everything kind of folds in on each other, how there's so many different paths, yet still enough ambiguity to where there's so much content hidden in what seems like a fairly small game, right? Like, I remember I felt like I was being smart the first time I started a run and then turned around and walked out the door. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to find something, small, like a nice little secret. Turns out that's just a normal part of the game. You're going outside all the time to find like all sorts of manner of things. So, yeah, it's there's a lot really packed in a very beautiful way, I would say.
Yeah. No, there's just so many cool moments. You wouldn't think a game like this had those sorts of moments when you first start playing it that are going to make you like actually yell and be like, "What?"
Yeah.
And some of them are like really cool big things that happen, like going into the underground for the first time where you're like, "Oh, this is huge." But also like the little things, like when I figured out the artwork on the walls puzzle and how that worked in the code, I was just like, "Oh, that's crazy."
Yeah.
That's cool. It's just like it's like the little details and they all mean something.
Yeah, there's some puzzles. There's some truly well done puzzles in this game that like I'll never forget. Like in terms of like my aha moment, there are a lot for sure, and I think there's one puzzle in particular that's kind of like an in-game puzzle that I was working on for literal days, like literal real life days. I was like, what does this mean? How do I figure this out? How do I put this together? And it probably took me maybe a week if I had to recount, of like, all right, these are my hours where I'm like trying to write everything down and like, get everything together. And when I solved that puzzle, like I felt so freaking accomplished. And I won't spoil it because I think, Claire, maybe Luke, I'll tell you on the side at some point.
Okay,
but
sounds good.
there, it was kind of like, yo, what, like, there's no way this is what they want me to do. And I did it and I solved it. And I was like, I feel like a madman, like a god.
Was it the drawing room?
The drawing room I found even after that. Like the drawing room was literally like one of the last puzzles I found before putting the game down. When we talk about like early game aha moments, definitely the power hammer. I was like, this is a game changer. I there's just so many little things, like even the safe, like some of the safes, like I won't spoil any of them, but I think my first safe was the boudoir.
Yeah.
Did you guys get that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was also my first.
Where you kind of just like see the Christmas in the photo and you're like, I'll try it. And it opens and you're like, whoa, like look at this. This is sick.
I wish they were all that easy.
I know, right? Like there are a few where you're just like racking your brain. I mean, I would say most of the safes, like by the time I finished the game, I probably only had like 3 safes open, if that. Most of them I had to like actually focus in and like really try and figure out. And some required some more hints, but yeah, I'm trying to think of any other, like obviously anything tied to the boiler room or the laboratory or anything like that. I felt accomplished because it was just so much effort to power anything with the boiler room that I was like, all right, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm goated. Like, let's go. The gallery was another one where I was like, when I finished the gallery, I was like, okay, this is kind of BS. So I'm kind of heated, but I also was like, let's freaking go. That was another one that took me forever to figure out.
Was that one where it was like you finish it and you're like, damn it, that was stupid.
Like the puzzles.
Yeah.
I mean, the gallery was definitely one of those where I'm like, all right, come on, guys. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a little too much. The only ones where I was like a little let down is the ones where Lucas sang, where there were some puzzles that might have been hanging over my head for the longest time. Like, I was like, where's the last like little thing that you turn?
Switch to turn
the last
for the
switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like searching for it for so long, and I finally get it. I'm like, let's go. I powered the elevator, and I go down, and it was 100% like Luke said. Like, it's like, oh, this is just a different route to the place I've already unlocked. I don't love that. But, you know, to some other people, that's the first route that they unlocked, and it's probably like a crazy what the hell type moment. I promise you, Claire, like, really, I would say that the base game is very good with a bunch of aha moments, and it's really interesting as it like really propels you forward in the story. But when you do the post game and solve some of the most, like, if you end up solving some of the most convoluted puzzles you've ever seen, you're kind of like, this is crazy. Like, I feel so powerful right now that I figured this out. Nice. So I hope you at least get to unlock some of that. So I'm sure you will.
I hope so too. Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying.
You're definitely sparking my interest. It's one of those things where, like, I picked this game up again about a month or so ago, and kind of haven't played anything else. Like, I played an hour of Silksong because Blueprints like retook over my life. If it was up to me, I feel like I would just keep playing Blueprints until we uncovered everything, because I still have so many curiosities and theories, and something we also haven't touched on, but I feel like now later in the game where we're at, I'm finding interesting ways to optimize my runs. And like rooms that used to scare me when they appear, now I'm like, oh well, if I use it in this way or this context, it's like far more interesting. So there's this whole like optimizing roguelite gameplay loop element that isn't even a puzzle necessarily, but is in a sense that it's
a different
like,
kind of puzzle.
But it's just like, I love that. I think this is what separates it from other puzzle games for me, is I feel like in any other instance, like I'm looking at like The Witness or something as an example, where it's just like, you feel like you're staring at this crazy thing, and it's not necessarily an engaging moment to solve that crazy thing. You just have to really think on it, and then you get there. Whereas I feel like Blueprints, it has this approach where it's like every moment is fun and interesting and cool along the way, but then it's also rewarding you for paying attention and noting these details and being thoughtful. And I just think that's really cool. I think it's like, it's a new era of puzzle game for me, that it really struck a chord in that sense.
I had a question for you guys. Oh yeah, like, how many allowance do you guys have?
I think I have 6 now.
I think I'm up to 8.
I think probably like almost 100 allowance.
Nice. Oh my god.
You definitely get to a point where it's like really expensive stuff in the gift shop.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you get to buy the books and everything. Yeah.
Is there I do have one question. Is there big story payoff to buying, I forget what the name of the room is, but where it has all the high priced like auction rich people items?
There's a trophy for buying everything in that room.
There's a trophy.
Okay, there's a trophy.
There's no story payoff. Okay. No story payoff. But those items do help a lot.
Sure. Same line of question. Is there story payoff to uncovering all of the trophies or individual trophies?
Have you uncovered all the trophies, Joseph?
I think I've uncovered all the trophies that are not challenge trophies. Like, there are some trophies where it's like beat the game in one day.
Because I was gonna ask if
do you have to start a new game in order to do that, right?
Yeah, you have to start a new game.
Does it then apply the trophy to your other game, or do you have to start a new game, win, and then get all the other trophies?
So interestingly enough, there is a way to like import your save data from a different save file. So there's like a way to solve that problem that you're asking.
Okay.
It's a different kind of puzzle. So if I managed to do that, I wouldn't have to go back
and redo everything
in order to get all the trophies. Okay.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me like 10% more intrigued.
I don't think I can do it.
I think I could,
Gotta
but I
figure out
don't
a
know if I
strat. I'm
want
sure there's some
to.
strat out there.
Well,
Yeah, I was
and
like, no, you guys
if
got
you
it.
watch the speedrun video, like this person, you can tell has played it
So much.
for hundreds of hours,
They
but
weren't even
not with
looking
the
at their
intent to
blueprint,
uncover
though.
the mystery necessarily, but optimizing the run, figuring out where to place dead end rooms, how to then get items to then craft specific workshop items to then be able to go outside to the it like I said, I'll link it in the comments for folks to watch it, but it blew my mind, and I was so excited to then jump back into the game myself after watching that speed run, just picking up like the different power hammer strategies and seeing little like breaks in, not breaks in terms of glitches, but like I had been in the weight room dozens of times, never noticed the wall that you could
Cracking the
punch
wall,
out. Like that, those little details like that are crazy. And I think on the note of the power hammer, I think there's tons of walls that I still have not dealt with.
Yeah,
that
I'm started
could be
writing them down.
Let me ask you guys a question. Did you guys use the power hammer in the secret garden?
That's the first place I used it, and that's what allowed me to get to room 46.
That one was like, I was like, oh no, this is a cheat code, because you can just open all the doors from the secret garden. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Open left at the west and the east door, right? So, or wait, yeah, no, yeah. Okay.
Well, that's why I was stuck on the secret garden forever. That was why that was like my path of like, this is how
that was also my path. Yeah.
Well, and that's why I got that, and then I was able to get to room 46 on that run, because I think I also opened the south door, so it didn't matter, and I also had a ton of dice, so it didn't matter that I couldn't go this way, because then I could go this way, and so it was a luck thing ultimately, and I just had a ton of extra steps. Like it really was just, it all fell together in one run instead of it. And then Luke had like 10 days between that and when he beat it, where he was like, I know what I need to do, but I can't keep getting the right like combination of things and running out of steps.
I will say that's my only like, and I don't even know if I can call it a critique, because this is just the structure of the game and it is what it is, and I think it's brilliant in certain ways, but can be frustrating at times of like, there was like probably a good like 20 days where I was like, I know the 3 or 4 different sequences of events that will lead me to be able to access room 46, and I'd already seen the cutscene via Claire's playthrough because I was watching her play and we were kind of working together on it. But so at that point I was just like, I just want to get there so then I can kind of mark that off and move on to these other post game things. But yeah, finally got there. I think I did end up using the weight room in the end. And then I also stocked up on dice. So right at the end there, I had like 5 or 6 dice. So then I could re-roll those last few rooms to be able, because that kept happening where like I would get to one of the 2 doors I needed and then get like a lavatory or a dark room, or, something that really kneecapped you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think probably one of the main complaints that I've seen, like, that I saw when the game came out, of like people who bounced off, was basically like, there's just a little too much RNG when you're like trying to learn the game, which I get for sure. But when you really get deep into the game and like when you really start to uncover all that the game has to offer, you realize that RNG is not really much of a blocker to getting to room 46 if you really understand the game in and out, right? Like I would probably say that I could probably get to room 46 maybe like 80% of the time now with everything I know about the game. Because essentially you learn that, there are 4 levers to open up all of the doors. And then there are like, or I think 3 or 4 levers that are specified to open up the antechamber doors. And then there's backups to all those levers. Right. So if you know all of the levers, you effectively like are probably going to run into one of those rooms ultimately during any given run. And you can kind of leverage that room as your way to get through the thing. But yeah, I think it's like one of those games where patience is a virtue, and you're kind of rewarded for, like, if you play it kind of like Claire was saying in the beginning, and you don't look at it as like, oh, well, I just didn't draft the room that I wanted, so I can't really do what I wanted to do, and kind of take an opportunity to, all right, well, I drafted this room, or maybe this run is not exactly what I wanted it to, but let me see what new rooms I can draft. Let me see if I missed
Sure.
anything in these rooms.
Yeah.
Like, you still kind of always make progress on a run,
Yeah.
regardless of like if you're accomplishing whatever your objective is or not, which I
Yeah.
love.
And
Yeah.
that moment to moment is still fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're still playing the game and
Yeah.
like progressing in some ways. So I
Yeah.
think that's meaningful too.
Or I've done it a couple of times where it's like, well, that's a dead end. I don't have time to do another run, but I also don't have to stop right now. I'm gonna go sit in the drawing room and stare at the wall for 15 minutes.
I have a couple
I'm gonna
more
figure
quick
that puzzle out. Swear to God.
optimization of my run questions.
Sure.
Is there a way? So I'm at the point now where every time I want to access room 46, I have to go down my
Mhm.
foundation elevator down to the underground area, flip that
Yeah.
switch with the room with all the doors and the moon sign, and then go all the way back up, continue
Mhm.
on. Is there a way to circumvent that?
No.
Okay. Outside of I could blow through the
Blow through the wall
basement
and just,
wall
Blow
and
through the
go
base-
through
that's-
the outside.
if you
Like
do that
that's
first,
That's usually what I do.
Then
Yeah.
you don't have to
I
go
usually
through
do that
anything.
first. Yeah.
because that's only
100%.
But like
3 steps, right?
okay, so I'm
Grounds.
not
Close to that,
missing
yeah.
something in terms
Basement.
of like making that flow easier, because there are
No.
something we didn't really touch on is the permanent upgrades or the permanent like unlocks you get run to run
Yeah.
as you go, whereas the things that reset every day, and there are some of those where it's like the foundation stays where the foundation is after you unlock it, or the outside room is accessible once you have access to that, or that sort of thing. But like garage door resets, breaker box resets,
The breaker box, that was a cool puzzle. When you got the
That
colored
was a good
lights,
one.
that
power
was cool.
hammered walls reset.
No, they don't.
Really?
They don't.
Even in the weight room?
Nope.
Yeah, it stays
Oh,
busted.
I guess I haven't drafted
Yeah.
the weight room since I busted that wall. That's interesting. Okay. This
Nope,
is what I
that's
mean,
always
though.
there.
This game's crazy.
Also, so okay, here's a question I have, because I think this
Sure.
is the case, but
Mhm.
all of the rooms that clearly have the like vents along the top, does that mean
Oh yeah.
does that mean that that room has something that will happen if you have the boiler room directing energy in that direction? Or is
It doesn't mean that something will happen. It just means that the boiler room will continue routing power
that
through it.
direction?
Okay.
Same for, I don't know if you noticed this, but you can, like, when you're drafting a new room, the boiler room powered rooms will have like a neon glow around them so that you know, okay, this is a room that will
Okay,
continue to be powered by the boiler room.
got
Quick segue into my favorite thing, which we haven't touched on. The way you can upgrade and combine rooms, so then you have like
Yeah.
I ended up with an electric aquarium that could power my garage and weird shit like that. I don't know if you've seen this. Yeah, the shit gets crazy.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was
eels,
crazy.
yeah.
Like the quarry yard I had, where I made my courtyard into also a hallway.
Oh,
So it was like an orange and green room.
But then you lose the
Interesting.
windows, which is sad.
I lose the
Do you-
windows,
That is
but
sad.
then I get 4 doors.
Have you ever drained the aquarium? Do you kill the fish if you drain the aquarium?
I mean, the fish aren't. That's not. I don't know. Actually, like, I don't ever
Afraid
remember.
to try.
I don't ever remember thinking, "Oh no, these fish are dead," but they might just disappear. But you should drain the aquarium.
Okay.
And
is
then
what
I
would
guess
say.
I have one more question. With the reservoir, in order
Yes.
to drain the reservoir, can you do
You have-
all of that
No,
in the
I know
pump
the
room?
answer. I
Or
know
is
the
there
answer to that
more
puzzle. You
to it
have to connect the
than-
boiler
Yes.
room to the pump room, which is what I'm about to do on the run I'm in the middle of right now.
Yes, you
'Cause
do need to
The last tank is connected to
Interesting.
the power.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all there, but you do need to power it up. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
almost there.
So
Incredible.
I got a question for you guys. Have
Sure.
you guys completed the class? Have you guys gone all the way through the classroom and drafted as many classrooms as possible?
No.
I've been
haven't drafted
working
a
on
single
that,
classroom.
but because I've been very intrigued by this final exam trophy,
Yeah.
and I want to know what the
Yeah.
heck's going on with that. And so I
So
keep drafting classrooms, and I keep not finding a way to fill out an exam.
well, okay, so this is a
This
small
is two
spoiler.
wrinkles, but yeah, go ahead.
Small spoiler, not a huge spoiler, but I have to talk about this moment because it's by far the funniest moment
Okay.
of Blueprints, where I'm like, all right, time to focus in on the classrooms. I got to draft as many classes. I have to see what this final exam thing is. So I get all the way through, draft up to 8th grade, I think. Get to the final exam. I'm like, all right, let's see, what is this? And the final exam is just one single desk in the room. You walk up to the desk, there's like a thing on the table, and it's a test. And I shit you not, the test is like, I don't know how many pages the test is, and a timer just starts running. And it's like, all right, now you have to take this test. And the questions are not easy. The question, I literally just started busting out laughing where I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm supposed to take a legit test on all of this. Not like it tests you on math,
Busting out your
history,
Scantron? Like, what the
science.
hell?
It's literally a Scantron. Like you fill in the bubbles. I was like, it took me so many tries to actually, and like, you get an achievement for getting like an A on the final exam. It took me so many tries because I'm like
That's
taking
crazy.
the test and I'm like, how did I fail this? Like, I thought all of this was right. So then I had to start noting down my answers and then comparing it to the next time I take the test, being like, okay, what did I put last time? Was this right or this wrong? I don't know. So it's hilarious.
Wild.
Like, it's actually what it took me by surprise. Cause like, I was like, okay, I'll just do this run. It was kind of like one of those, I'll do a run for 30 minutes or I'll just figure out the final exam. And then the timer is like, I think like 20 minutes. Like that's how much, 20 or 30 minutes. Like they're giving you a lot of time to do this test. And I'm still like,
incredible.
yo, what?
Oh
yeah, it's like a real exam, which was absolutely hilarious to me, but
so
also
funny.
a little traumatizing.
That's funny because I thought the like children's test was the quote unquote final exam, and I was like, do I just need to find a utensil to, or not a utensil, like writing, you know what I mean?
Craft a power.
Yes, power pencil or something.
No, they got a real test for you, man. They have a real test for you there,
wild.
so enjoy that. One of the last things I'll say is, for you two, one of the most important things in the game to like really reach the final end is to buy all of the books in the bookstore.
That makes sense.
Like without buying those books, I would say it's near impossible to figure out the rest of the remaining puzzles. So I won't say which books are important, which ones aren't, but you gotta buy the books for sure.
Books. Noted.
Have you bought everything in the gift shop?
I have bought everything in the gift shop, yeah.
So you can actually buy the tent at a certain point.
Yes. I think there are some criteria that you need to meet to buy it. I don't remember what those were.
Does it do anything, or is it just a cosmetic? Your tent is now blue.
It does something.
Okay.
It does something that is somewhat helpful, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
What a game.
What a game. What a game.
So after all this,
gosh.
do you have any intent of ever going back, Joseph, other than just like nostalgia? I want to do a couple runs, or like, do you want to jump back in like a meaningful way at this point?
I'm in a really weird place of like, do I just look at the final couple puzzles that I didn't figure out, or do I like leave those as my white whales that I one day go back and get? The problem is I put so many hours into this game, and I stopped the game because so many of my runs were literally like, all right, I just did 20 runs and I haven't found a single thing. I've made no progress at this point, that I'm like, even if I were to go back to the game at this point, I would have forgotten so much, on top of the fact that even at my highest skill level, I still couldn't find anything. So I would probably have to look up some hints if I wanted to figure out the last few puzzles, but you never know. Maybe I'll dip my toe. Maybe when I get that collector's set or whatever, maybe that'll inspire me to do one final batch of runs.
Right on.
Very cool.
On.
Well, let us know if you end up killing your white whale.
I will. I
Yeah,
will. Also, before we go,
yeah, please.
we do have to talk about the great Alzara.
Oh,
What was your reaction of putting a coin in that guy for the first time?
It was so fun.
it was fun. Yeah.
I kept doing it, and then
I've
it was
only
a good
gotten
time.
it twice or maybe 3 times that I've actually got coins.
I've gotten it a lot.
Yeah.
The
Is
first
it
time I
worth
put a coin in
doing
that guy,
every single time? Because it has done different things, but I can't tell if it's
Helpful.
truly different every single time.
I will tell you, that's how
It's
I
different
solved
every
the artwork
time.
puzzle.
Okay.
Because it said the thing about, it said, like, I wrote it down, like the artwork on the walls, there's always a letter missing. And that clue is how I solved the puzzle. So
it does give you some clues. The problem is, like, in the moment, I would put a quarter in, and he would just hit me with this cutscene. I'd be like, what the fuck did he say? I don't even remember. I was just so stunned by whatever the hell he
I
was
just
saying.
sat there and wrote everything he said down.
I had to, like, go on YouTube and, like, be so delicate about, like, all right, give me this specific cutscene. I need to watch this specific back again, and I won't want to see anything else. So I'd say it's worth watching them all. Yeah. Why not?
Nice.
They're fun.
That's a fun one. I definitely, I feel like it, I don't think it counts as cheating, but I've been taking my notes on my phone, and I will sometimes take the picture of what it is and then just put it into my notes. So, like,
you should.
During those cutscenes, I'm just every time it changed, and just stick the picture.
Yep. I support taking pictures 100%. I took a lot of pictures.
Because you don't know what's important in the moment. You just got to take a picture of everything.
That's 100% right.
Hell yeah. Well, I enjoyed this chat a whole lot. I enjoyed this game a whole lot. Listeners, hopefully you enjoyed Joseph's insight and our different
reactions.
Points. I feel now inspired to go play more given this new context, because this game's so cool. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we did this.
Man,
anything else to shout out for the good of the order, or anything we didn't talk about?
Buy this game. It's fantastic.
Truly, please.
I Am 8-Bit has a very expensive collector edition, but if you don't want to pay for that, they have like keychains of all the important keys in the game.
The keychains are very cool. You can buy just a copy of the game, which I haven't bought yet, but I'm very tempted and probably will end up getting at some point.
I hope that they make like a blue tent or something just really silly for us. the Dare swim shorts. They gotta do something.
Oh, the Dare swim short. The plushie, the little
like
bluebird plushie.
A really nice art print of like the loading screen key art, like of the house.
Or the book.
Like that feels like something you could like
would also be a cool thing.
Well, no,
they have to make that, right? They're making that.
Isn't there a Red Prince book in the collector's edition?
I think there is.
I feel like that's a thing.
I think there is.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing.
You'll have to show it off.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, play this game. One other thing that I will leave people with, like, if you enjoy this game and you're looking for like another high, Outer Wilds, another one of my favorite games of all time, very similar to this, where knowledge is power, and you get very emotional at the end, including the DLC. One of the best DLCs I've ever played in my life. Outer Wilds is like very Blueprints adjacent in that regard. And then Tunic also has a bunch of lovely puzzles, especially if you want to go above and beyond. You can really get in the weeds with it. But Tunic is another one where I would say those three are the trifecta. And when this game was about to come out, and it was like Andrew Schuldice, who's the developer behind Tunic, and like the guy who made Inscription as well, were like, oh yeah, you guys have to play this game. I was like, oh, we're about to cook, man. My heroes are hyping this up. So go check out Tunic and Inscription and Outer Wilds.
Amazing.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I think with that, we're setting our status 2 away until next time. But before then, I'm going to ask you to do 4 things for us. Give us a follow on BlueSky at Crossplay Convos. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Send this podcast to a friend, because that's how people hear about podcasts. And of course, give us a review on your podcasting platform of choice. It really, truly does help. And now that you've reached the end of the episode and are basking in your well-deserved glory, shiny trophy in hand, and showered with accolades and titles, will you be content to stop there? Or will you look to the horizon and wonder what dreams lie ahead?
Wow.
Bye, everybody.
Beautiful.